Okay, for number 18, there are 120 minutes in 2 hours. Which proportion can be used to find x, the number of minutes in 9 hours? This is similar to the other proportion we set up where we can cover up the answers, write our proportion, and then find what our answer is. So we're going to do minutes per hour. 120 minutes in 2 hours would equal, we want to know how many minutes in 9 hours. So we're going to look for this proportion first, and then if we don't find it, we can remember turn our page to figure out which one it belongs to. So the nice thing about this problem is on A, that is exactly the proportion that we wrote. So that's our answer. This one wouldn't work because 9 would need to be down here where the x is. These would need to be switched. This doesn't work because if 2 is over 9, then we would still need 120 over x, so those would need to be switched. And at no point do we ever have 2 over x. If you can see, those are diagonal from each other, so they would never be on top. So those answers don't work. Use proportions to solve every problem. I'm not going to necessarily say you have to do that. You can if you want. I'm going to use King Henry to solve these. It's a little bit quicker. So King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. To go from kilograms to grams, remember that our base is our grams, meters, and liters. So I'm going from kilograms to grams. I'm going to 1, 2, 3 spots to the right. So I have 64, and that's like multiplying by 100. And to multiply, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, by 1,000. Multiply by 1,000. I'm going to add 3 zeros in, so this would be 64,000 grams. To go from centimeters to millimeters, that's multiplying by 10, so I'm going to go 1 to the right, which would be 1 to the right, 183 millimeters. To go from centiliters to milliliters, again, same thing, multiplying by 10, 43, I'm going to multiply by 10 or move it one place to the right, which would be 430 milliliters. 8 and 4900 centimeters to millimeters, kind of the same thing again. I'm going to multiply by 10, one spot to the right for your decimal. So this is now going to be 84 and 9/10 millimeters. 320 liters to milliliters. I'm starting out my base and going to milliliters. 1, 2, 3, multiplying by 1,000 spots to the right. So I have 30 and 2/10, 1, 2, 3 spots to the right. I'm going to add in my 2 zeros. This is going to become 30,000 and 200 milliliters, and 189 centimeters to meters. Now I'm going back to my base, so this is dividing because I'm going the opposite direction. I'm going to the left, so I'm dividing by 100, 2 spots, so that's dividing by 100, so I have 189. My decimal would be here to start because that's the only place that I can put it where the number stays 189. If I put it anywhere else, it doesn't represent 189. I'm going to move it 2 places to the right, or to the left, 2 places to the left because that is dividing by 100. 1, 2. So this would be 1 and 89/100 meters. Number 25, Martha is making a cover out of different fabric for her circular desk in her bedroom. To fit her desk, the diameter must be 14 centimeters. What is the area of the desk she wants to cover with the fabric? So if my diameter is 14, my radius is going to be 7 centimeters, and I need that to be able to solve for area. Area is equal to pi radius squared, so that's 3 times 7 squared. 3 times 7 squared would be 3 times 49. Remember, you have to square it first, following your order of operations. So the area is going to be 147 centimeters squared. Number 26, you and your friend are making bracelets, and you measure the string before you get started. You have 75 meters of pink string, 88 meters of blue string, and 27 meters more yellow string than total of pink and blue. I think that's probably the most confusing part there. How much total string do you have in centimeters? So a couple things are going on here. You're given everything in meters, and at the end we're going to have to convert to centimeters. But first I need to figure out how much yellow string there is. So I have my pink string and my blue string, and when I add those together I get a total of 163. So that's my pink plus blue. I know that the yellow is 27 meters more than that. So I have to add my 27 to that. That's 190. So that's simply my yellow string. To get my total amount of string, I need to add my pink and blue total and my yellow total together. So 163 plus 190 is going to be 353, and that's meters. I want to know how many centimeters I have. So again, I'm going to use King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. I have meters, which is my base, and I'm going to go to centimeters. So I'm going to multiply by 100 or move my decimal 2 places to the right. 353, 1, 2. So I'm going to have a total of 35,300 centimeters of string. Number 27, this says write a proportion. I'm going to write it and solve. There are 72 hours in 3 days. How many hours are in 9 days? My proportion is going to be hours to days. That's my word ratio. 72 hours in 3 days. And I wonder how many in 9. So I'm simply going to multiply by 3. Again, you're going to be able to solve every problem by using the scale factor, which is this number right here. You do not need to cross multiply and divide. Doing 72 times 9 and then dividing by 3 is going to be a lot more work for you than just saying, finding a scale factor, and this should be of 3, not of 9, and saying 3 times 3 is 9, and then multiplying 72 times 3. 72 times 3 is 216, so this would be 216 hours. There are 15 feet in 5 yards. How many feet in 24 yards? Feet to yards, 15 to 5. And then I want to know how many are in 24. This is another example of, we tend to look at it and say, well, 5 doesn't go into 24, so I guess I have to cross multiply and divide. That's actually not the easiest way to do this. The easiest way to do this would be to simplify. And I can simplify this to a 5-to-1 ratio. Now I'm just multiplying by 24 and doing 5 times 24. It's a lot easier to do that than to do 15 times 24 divided by 5, I promise. So I'm going to do 24 times, and this should be 3. I'm like all over the place, guys. I'm sorry. This should be a 3-to-1 ratio. So 3 times 24, and that's a total of 72 feet. 72 feet. Number 29, find the area and perimeter. We're going to go ahead and go through this pretty quickly. It shouldn't be too bad. Perimeter is going to be 2 times, and then I'm going to have 15 plus 2. Again, you can set this up if you want to do it as 2 times 15 plus 2 times 2. That's fine too. I just do this way. That's up to you. 15 times 2 is 17, and 2 times 17 is 34 feet. That's my perimeter. For the area, it's going to be your base times height, so 15 times 2. Area here is going to be 30 feet squared. For second part of 29, perimeter again is 2 times 4 plus 3. This is 7. So 2 times 7 is going to be 14 yards. Area is going to be base times height, which is going to be 4 times 3. So the area will be 12 yards squared. Making sure to always label our units. Find the missing dimension of the figure below. So I know my area, and it looks like I know my width, so I'm looking for my length. So my formula is area equals length times width. Area is going to equal length times 7, and this area is going to be 105. So I know that something times 7 is 105. So to solve for the length, I can divide 105 by 7. 105 divided by 7 is going to be 15 with no remainder. So my length is going to be 15 inches. Number 31, Stacy painted one wall in her bedroom. The length of the wall is 14 feet and the width of the wall is 11. She has one window on the wall and that has an area of 10 feet. What is the area of the wall that she painted? So I know that I'm going to do the area of the wall minus the area of the window. So for the wall, it's going to be length times width, which will be 14 times 11. And 14 times 11 is 154 feet squared. 154 minus the length of the window, which was 10 feet, is going to be 144 feet squared. 32. The hopscotch figure below is composed of squares and a semicircle. Suppose the side length of each square is 2 feet. So we're up 2 and 2. Find the area of the hopscotch figure. So the first thing I need to do, the area of all these squares, 2 times 2 is 4. So it's going to be 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, and 4. Okay? My radius of my circle right here is going to be 2. So to find the area of the circle, I need to do pi times radius squared, which will be 3 times 2 squared. 2 squared is 4. 3 times 4 is going to be 12. I believe this is feet squared. However, that is for a full circle. And I need a semicircle. So I actually need to divide this by 2. And the area of this part will be 6 feet squared. Okay, now when I add all these up, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 squares that have an area of 4. So 8 times 4 is going to be 32 feet squared, plus my semicircle of 6 feet squared. So I will have a total area of 38 feet squared. 33. This is a long review, guys. Sorry. I'm going to go quick because I don't want to run out of time. So for 33, if you notice, you're taking the length and multiplying by the height. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 4 is 20. So 5 times n would be 5n, which is A. 34, figure below is an isosceles triangle, which means this side and this side are the same. And a square, find the area of the unshaded region. Okay, so I'm going to find the area of the square, which would be 4 times 4, 16 inches squared. That's the area of the square. For the triangle, it's going to be 1/2 the base times the height, which is 1/2 of 4 times 4. 1/2 of 4 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8 inches squared. So if I subtract that from the area of the square, so this is my square, this is my triangle, I need to subtract them to find the area of this unshaded region. It's going to be 8 inches squared. Number 35 is actually a question that isn't written well, and there's not really a correct answer, so we are going to cross it out. You do not have one like that on your CBA tomorrow, so you don't need to worry about number 35. Number 36, the chart below shows the relationship between R and B. Which expression represents the value of B in terms of R? So I need to look in between. If you notice 1/32 to get to 8/32, okay, I'm actually going to add, and I'm adding, this is incorrect, I'm sorry, there was a typo on here. This should be 9/32. I'm not quite sure what happened there. That's 1/24. This should be 7/24. Anyway, if I add 1 to 8 to 9/32, you should get 8/32. So that's what you add, and that would simplify to 1/4. Same here, 5/20, which would simplify to 1/4. So if I add 1/4 to R, I would get B, and that would be answer B. Number 37. To do this, I know that the entire length of this, which is this entire length, is 80 inches. This should be inches. I'm not quite sure why it says centimeters, and I apologize for the error in that, but that should be inches. So if this is 80 inches and these are each 10, that would give me a diameter of this middle circle of 60 inches, which would give me a radius of 30 inches. And then to find the area of the larger circle, pi r squared, which would be 3 times 30 squared. 30 squared is 900 times 3. And then my area would be a total of 2,700 inches squared. Again, I apologize for the typos in that, but that is what it needs to be. You do have one like this on your CBA tomorrow, similar. Finally, number 38. Kendra built several rectangular prisms for science class. Each prism has a base with 3 inches and by 4 inches. Kendra listed the volume of the prisms in the table below. So I've got my length, my width, and then my height. And if you notice, the length and the widths are the same on all of them. So I'm going to do basically 3 times 4 to find the area of the base. And then I have to multiply that by my height to get my volume. So your correct answer would be, oh, I'm sorry, I can't see that. Correct answer would be C.